Imagine a world where the wealthiest individuals aren't just preparing for tomorrow. They're preparing for the end of the world. Luxury bunkers, state-of-the-art technology, and biblical parallels are merging into a fascinating narrative where survival, faith, and fear collide. In this video, we'll explore why billionaires are retreating into underground fortresses and whether their extreme measures offer real security or reflect a deeper disconnect from the spiritual teachings of the Bible. Buckle up, because this journey into the hidden lives of the ultra-rich will challenge everything you thought you knew about wealth, fear, and faith. The influence of biblical prophecies on the fear of the apocalypse. Throughout history, the fear of a global catastrophe has remained a constant source of anxiety for many, especially during times of social and environmental upheaval. However, in recent years, this fear has taken a new form as some of the wealthiest individuals on the planet invest millions in building luxury bunkers. Why are they preparing for a world-ending event? To understand their motivation, we need to examine both their modern concerns and the influence of ancient prophecies found in the Bible. The Bible, particularly in books such as Revelation and Daniel, outlines vivid imagery of the end of days. These texts describe wars, natural disasters, and global chaos, events that many interpret as warnings of an impending apocalypse. For instance, Matthew 24 verses 6 to 7 foretells, "You will hear of wars and rumors of wars. Nation will rise against nation, and there will be famines and earthquakes in various places." These words resonate strongly today, as modern crises such as climate change, political instability, and pandemics seem to mirror these predictions. The wealthy, with access to a wealth of resources and information, may view these prophecies as not merely metaphorical, but as very real possibilities. Their decision to construct bunkers reflects a desire for protection against what they perceive as an inevitable breakdown of society. In this context, their behavior aligns with a deep-seated fear of a future catastrophe, whether that be environmental collapse, nuclear war, or social unrest. Fears that are amplified by the prophetic tone of biblical texts. A notable biblical reference that parallels today's actions is the story of Noah's Ark, found in Genesis 6 verses 13 to 14, where God instructs Noah to build an ark to survive the flood that would destroy humanity. So God said to Noah, "I am going to put an end to all people, for the earth is filled with violence. Make yourself an ark." Just as Noah followed divine instructions to ensure his survival, today's billionaires are constructing modern arks in the form of bunkers to safeguard themselves against perceived existential threats. The desire to build a refuge from apocalyptic scenarios is not new. What's different today is the scale and sophistication of these modern bunkers, which resemble five-star hotels more than simple shelters. Equipped with cutting-edge technology, renewable energy sources, and supplies to last for years, these underground fortresses serve as sanctuaries where the wealthy can escape and wait out disasters. This idea echoes another biblical passage, Revelation 6 verses 15 to 16, which says, "Then the kings of the earth, the princes, the generals, the rich, the mighty, and everyone else, hid in caves and among the rocks of the mountains." Despite the technological advancements of today's bunkers, the fundamental motivations remain rooted in ancient fears. The Bible speaks not only of physical survival, but of spiritual readiness. Matthew 24 verse 44 advises, "So you also must be ready, because the Son of Man will come at an hour when you do not expect him." While the ultra-rich are building bunkers to secure their physical well-being, the Bible emphasizes the importance of spiritual vigilance over material preparedness. What is interesting about these modern bunkers is how they contrast with the spiritual teachings of the Bible. While Noah's Ark was built out of obedience to a divine warning, today's billionaires seem to be driven by fear and a desire for control. Their preparations raise a question. Can material wealth and physical security truly protect them from the divine judgment described in the Bible? Or is their focus misplaced? The ultra-wealthy may believe that their vast resources will allow them to outmaneuver any apocalyptic scenario, but the Bible suggests that no one can escape divine justice. Revelation 6 verse 17 proclaims, "For the great day of their wrath has come, and who can withstand it?" This implies that no amount of preparation, no matter how advanced or luxurious, can ultimately save them from what is to come. While billionaires may be constructing bunkers in response to the world's instability, there is an irony in their actions. The Bible repeatedly emphasizes that salvation lies not in earthly preparations, but in faith and readiness for God's will. Their efforts to build these modern arks might protect them from earthly disasters, but the Bible implies that spiritual preparedness is the true key to survival. As these elite individuals create their subterranean sanctuaries, many may be missing the broader spiritual message. For all their technological prowess and wealth, their bunkers cannot shield them from divine judgment, which, according to the Bible, will come without warning. Their reliance on material solutions reflects a deeper anxiety about the future, one that may be best addressed through spiritual reflection rather than physical refuge. Are you enjoying this deep dive into the fascinating connection between the Bible and modern fears? If so, don't forget to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments. The pandemic and the rise of bunker construction. The global pandemic brought a wave of fear and uncertainty that shook every corner of society. For the world's wealthiest individuals, the unpredictability of the situation led to a significant uptick in investments aimed at self-preservation. Among these, the construction of luxury bunkers became a priority. As the pandemic revealed the fragility of global systems, billionaires started to seek refuge underground, preparing for a world that could potentially crumble under the weight of future crises. Before the pandemic, bunkers were often associated with protection from nuclear threats or natural disasters. However, the health crisis shifted that perspective, with many now seeing them as a safe haven from biological risks and the breakdown of social order. As the world struggled to contain the virus, the elite were forced to confront the reality that no amount of wealth could fully protect them from global disruptions. The result? A surge in bunker construction, with state-of-the-art facilities offering a fortress of solitude from the chaos above. This rise in bunker construction has a biblical parallel, particularly in the context of pestilence and global upheaval. Luke 21 verse 11 warns, "There will be great earthquakes, famines, and pestilences in various places, and fearful events and great signs from heaven." For many, the pandemic felt like a manifestation of these prophecies, urging them to take drastic measures to ensure their survival. With memories of empty grocery store shelves and overwhelmed healthcare systems fresh in their minds, the world's richest saw the need to prepare for whatever might come next. Bunkers provide more than just physical security. They symbolize control in a world that suddenly feels uncontrollable. These shelters are equipped with everything from medical facilities to entertainment rooms, designed to allow their occupants to live in comfort while the world outside grapples with disaster. For billionaires, the goal is simple. Create a space where their families and trusted staff can survive comfortably for months or even years without ever needing to return to the surface. Interestingly, the pandemic also revealed the cracks in societal structures that had previously seemed invincible. As governments imposed lockdowns and economies faltered, many of the elite recognized how quickly society could descend into disorder. This realization fueled the sense that the pandemic was not just a one-off event, but the beginning of a new era of uncertainty. Isaiah 26 verse 20 says, "Go, my people, enter your rooms and shut the doors behind you. Hide yourselves for a little while until his wrath has passed by." This imagery of isolation during a time of divine wrath aligns with the instinct of the wealthy to retreat into their modern-day bunkers. While the initial spark for these bunkers was the pandemic, their construction is ultimately a response to a broader fear of societal collapse. From climate change to economic instability, the world's wealthiest are hedging their bets against a multitude of potential crises. The bunkers they build are not simple shelters, but are more akin to luxury estates, complete with cinemas, gyms, and even underground gardens. In many ways, They represent a blend of fear and foresight, a recognition that the future may hold more instability than anyone could predict. Moreover, the pandemic exposed the unpredictability of global health and political systems. The lack of preparedness at national and international levels led many to believe that their safety could no longer be entrusted to governments or public institutions. The Bible's warning in Matthew 24 verse 44 rings true in this scenario. So you also must be ready, because the Son of Man will come at an hour when you do not expect him. While this verse speaks of spiritual readiness, billionaires have interpreted it in a more material sense, seeking readiness in the form of heavily fortified bunkers. What the pandemic has truly done is accelerate a pre-existing trend. The wealthy have always sought ways to insulate themselves from disaster, and bunkers are the ultimate symbol of that desire. But this rush to prepare also raises deeper questions about the role of faith and material wealth in securing one's future. The Bible emphasizes spiritual preparedness over physical safety. Yet today's elite are increasingly focused on building the ultimate escape route. As they retreat into their underground sanctuaries, are they missing the larger message of reliance on a higher power? The contrast between biblical warnings of pestilence and the actions of the wealthy underscores a broader tension between spiritual and physical preparedness. While bunkers offer a sense of control and security, they cannot protect against everything, especially not the divine forces that many believe are foretold in Scripture. For those focused solely on material survival, this raises a profound question. In the event of a true apocalyptic event, will bunkers be enough, or is something greater required? These shelters may keep their inhabitants safe from the pandemics of the future, but they also represent a stark division between the rich and the rest of society. The Bible frequently calls for humility and compassion, but the bunker boom suggests that the wealthiest are focused on self-preservation. The pandemic may have sparked the rise of these fortresses, but they symbolize a broader trend toward isolation and separation from the challenges of the world. Are these insights into the elite's preparations for the future making you think about how we can all be ready for what's to come? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated. Technology and the survival race. Modern solutions versus biblical traditions. The wealthiest individuals on the planet are leveraging advanced technology to secure their futures in a world that seems increasingly unstable. In recent years, luxury bunkers have emerged as the ultimate survival strategy for the rich, blending cutting-edge technology with lavish comfort. Yet, as billionaires embrace modern solutions, the Bible offers a contrasting perspective, emphasizing spiritual preparation over physical safety. This contrast between modern technological advancements and biblical traditions poses an intriguing question. Are the ultra-wealthy placing too much trust in their material defenses when the Bible promotes a simpler, faith-based approach to survival? Today's luxury bunkers are marvels of engineering. Equipped with air filtration systems, renewable energy sources, and climate control technology, these bunkers are designed to be self-sustaining for months or even years. For the rich, the ability to control their environment, even in the face of disaster, is paramount. These shelters represent an extreme form of preparedness, where everything is thought out, from water purification systems to artificial light that mimics natural sunlight. Yet, this level of preparedness raises questions about reliance on human-made structures versus spiritual faith. Proverbs 3 verse 5 encourages believers to trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding, suggesting that there are limits to human knowledge and control. Billionaires who build high-tech bunkers are, in many ways, leaning heavily on their understanding of technology to protect them. But can technology really shield someone from the unpredictable forces of nature, or, as the Bible warns, the divine will? This reliance on modern solutions can create a false sense of security, particularly when the Bible calls for a trust that transcends material preparations. The desire to control one's fate through technology is deeply ingrained in the human psyche. These modern bunkers provide more than just physical protection. They offer the promise of self-reliance and independence in a world filled with uncertainties. In contrast, the Bible speaks to the importance of spiritual readiness. urging people to place their faith in God rather than in human inventions. Matthew 6 verses 19 to 20 echoes this sentiment, advising believers not to store up for yourselves treasures on earth, but store up treasures in heaven. For those building luxury bunkers, this creates a direct conflict between material wealth and spiritual investment. Moreover, the Bible often emphasizes community and helping others in times of crisis. Isaiah 58 verse 7 teaches, "Is it not to share your food with the hungry and to provide the poor wanderer with shelter?" The construction of these bunkers, which are often intended to house only a few select individuals, can be seen as a move toward isolation and self-preservation, rather than a focus on compassion or charity. By retreating into their technological sanctuaries, the wealthy may be missing an important aspect of biblical teaching, the call to help those in need. Interestingly, these bunkers are not merely about survival. They're about thriving in luxury even in the worst circumstances. Equipped with everything from private theaters to gyms, these underground fortresses are designed for long-term comfort. In this way, they are more than just shelters. They are a means of maintaining the lifestyle to which the wealthy are accustomed, regardless of what's happening above ground. Yet, this pursuit of comfort contrasts with biblical stories like the Exodus, where God's people endured hardships to ultimately reach salvation. The Bible frequently reminds us that material possessions are fleeting, and it is faith, not wealth, that offers true security. One biblical story that speaks to the dangers of relying on human ingenuity is the Tower of Babel in Genesis 11 verse 4. In this story, humanity attempts to build a tower that reaches the heavens, showcasing their technological prowess and ambition. However, God disrupts their plans, scattering them across the earth. The lesson here is clear. Placing too much faith in human creations can lead to downfall. Today's billionaires may not be building towers to the sky, but their high-tech bunkers represent a similar desire to control their destiny in ways that may conflict with divine teachings. Additionally, the sheer cost of these bunkers reflects an ever-widening gap between the rich and the rest of society. The Bible warns against this imbalance, with James 5 verses 1 to 3 saying, "Now listen, you rich people, weep and wail because of the misery that is coming on you. Your wealth has rotted, and moths have eaten your clothes." While these shelters offer the rich a means of survival, they may also be symbols of excess, isolating the wealthy from the realities that most people face during times of crisis. In many ways, these bunkers symbolize a deep fear of the future. Billionaires may feel that their wealth and technology are the only ways to protect themselves from impending disasters. Yet Psalm 46 verse 1 reminds us, "God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble." This message emphasizes the importance of turning to God for security, rather than relying solely on material possessions or technological solutions. The trend toward technological bunkers also highlights a broader shift in society, where trust in institutions and community is being replaced by self-reliance and individualism. The Bible, however, calls for unity and mutual support, especially during difficult times. As billionaires invest in isolating themselves, they may be moving further away from the spiritual teachings that encourage reliance on God and helping others. While technology offers temporary solutions, it cannot protect against everything. The Bible teaches that true security comes from faith, not from material wealth or human inventions. Billionaires may feel that they are safeguarding their futures with bunkers, but as Proverbs 11 verse 4 warns, "Wealth is worthless in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivers from death." This verse suggests that no amount of technological preparedness can offer the same kind of peace and assurance that faith provides. So, can these luxury bunkers truly protect the elite from what's to come? Or are they missing the deeper message of relying on something greater than human technology? Enjoying this exploration of how modern survival strategies contrast with ancient wisdom? Be sure to hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more intriguing insights. The psychology of fear. Why the rich seek refuge in bunkers. Fear is a powerful motivator, and for the ultra-wealthy, This fear often manifests in a desire to prepare for the worst possible scenarios. The growing trend of billionaires investing in luxury bunkers is not just a practical decision, but a psychological response to deep-seated anxieties about the future. This raises an intriguing question. Why, with all their wealth and influence, do the richest people on the planet feel the need to build such extreme forms of security? Understanding the psychology behind their fears provides insight into both their actions and the broader societal concerns they reflect. At the heart of the bunker trend lies a fundamental fear of losing control. For the ultra-wealthy, their wealth has afforded them a level of control over their lives that few others can imagine. They can dictate where they live, how they travel, and even the laws that affect them. However, global crises, whether environmental, political, or economic, represent a threat to this carefully curated sense of control. The pandemic, for example, was a stark reminder that no amount of wealth could prevent the spread of a global disaster. In response, billionaires have turned to bunkers as a way to regain some of that lost control. This desire for control is deeply rooted in human psychology. When faced with uncertainty, people seek to create a sense of stability. Bunkers, with their advanced technology and self-sustaining infrastructure, offer the promise of survival and continuity in a world where everything else might collapse. The Bible, however, teaches that ultimate control lies not with humans, but with God. Proverbs 19 verse 21 reminds us, "Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails." While the rich may build bunkers to protect themselves, this verse suggests that true safety cannot come from material constructions. Another important aspect of this psychological need for bunkers is the fear of societal collapse. For many of the world's wealthiest individuals, the fear of civil unrest, revolution, or economic failure looms large. History shows that inequality often leads to unrest, and with the gap between rich and poor growing ever wider, the wealthy may feel vulnerable to the anger of the masses. James 5 verses 1-3 offers a warning to the rich, saying, "Now listen, you rich people, weep and wail because of the misery that is coming on you. Your wealth has rotted, and moths have eaten your clothes." This biblical warning serves as a reminder that material wealth, no matter how vast, cannot protect against the consequences of societal breakdown. The psychology of fear is also tied to the fear of mortality. For the ultra-wealthy, the ability to live comfortably and luxuriously can create a sense of immortality, an illusion that can be shattered by global threats. Bunkers provide a false sense of prolonging life by offering protection from external dangers, yet they cannot shield their occupants from the inevitability of death. Psalm 49 verses 10-11 speaks to this. "For all can see that the wise die, that the foolish and the senseless also perish, leaving their wealth to others. Their tombs will remain their houses forever." In essence, no matter how sophisticated or luxurious a bunker may be, it cannot stave off the ultimate fate that awaits everyone. Fear of the unknown is another powerful driver for the construction of these bunkers. Whether it's fear of a nuclear war, environmental catastrophe, or a technological meltdown, billionaires are attempting to prepare for every possible disaster. Their desire to anticipate and plan for the future is understandable, but it also reflects a broader anxiety about the unpredictability of life. In contrast, the Bible teaches that faith, rather than fear, should guide our lives. Matthew 6 verse 34 advises, "Therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." This focus on living in the present, trusting in God's plan, contrasts sharply with the bunker mentality of anticipating and preparing for every conceivable disaster. While bunkers offer a form of physical protection, they also symbolize emotional insulation. For the ultra-wealthy, the bunker is not just a physical refuge, but an emotional one, where they can escape from the world's fears and uncertainties. However, this isolation can lead to a sense of disconnection from the rest of society. In the Bible, there is a call for unity and compassion, especially in times of crisis. Galatians 6 verse 2 says, "Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ." Instead of retreating into isolation, the Bible encourages individuals to face difficulties together, offering support to those in need. Interestingly, the psychology of bunker building also taps into the broader survival instinct that is inherent in human nature. The desire to survive, to protect one's family, and to secure a future are powerful motivators for anyone, regardless of wealth. However, for the rich, their wealth allows them to take this survival instinct to extremes, creating luxurious sanctuaries that are out of reach for most people. While this is a natural human response, it also raises ethical questions about the fairness of such preparations when so many people lack access to basic necessities. Ultimately, the psychology of fear that drives the wealthy to build bunkers reflects a deeper human concern about the future. Whether it's fear of death, loss of control, or societal collapse, these anxieties are not unique to the rich, but their ability to respond to these fears with extreme measures is. Proverbs 18 verse 11 notes, "The wealth of the rich is their fortified city. They imagine it a wall too high to scale." This verse encapsulates the mindset of those who invest in luxury bunkers, believing their wealth will shield them from all harm. But can a bunker truly protect someone from the deeper fears that plague the human heart? The Bible teaches that true peace and security come not from physical structures, but from faith. In times of uncertainty, turning to spiritual solutions rather than material ones may offer the reassurance that bunkers, no matter how advanced, cannot provide. Do these insights resonate with you? If you're finding value in this exploration of wealth, fear, and faith, don't forget to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments. The role of bunker companies, modern-day Arks of Noah. As the demand for luxury bunkers rises among the ultra-wealthy, companies specializing in the construction of these high-end shelters have gained prominence. These businesses offer far more than just underground safety. They market their bunkers as the ultimate defense against societal collapse, natural disasters, and even apocalyptic scenarios. In many ways, these bunkers resemble modern-day versions of Noah's Ark, providing refuge in times of global uncertainty. This raises an interesting question. Are these companies merely capitalizing on fear, or are they genuinely offering a service rooted in the age-old desire for survival and protection? One of the most prominent bunker companies is the Vivos Group, which markets itself as offering the modern Noah's Ark for the world's elite. Their luxury underground shelters include everything from private apartments to full underground complexes that resemble mini cities. These facilities come equipped with everything needed to live comfortably for extended periods: food supplies, air filtration systems, water purification, and even luxury amenities like gyms and theaters. In the biblical story, Noah's Ark was built under divine instruction to preserve life through a great flood. Today, bunker companies like Vivos play a similar role, offering a form of protection from the metaphorical flood of global catastrophes. What makes these bunker companies so successful is their ability to tap into a primal survival instinct. Fear, as discussed previously, is a powerful motivator, and bunker companies know how to market their products in a way that directly appeals to the concerns of their wealthy clientele. They emphasize the unpredictable nature of today's world, be it political instability, climate change, or economic collapse, and position their bunkers as the ultimate insurance policy. The Bible touches on the importance of preparedness in Matthew 24 verse 44, where it says, "So you also must be ready, because the Son of Man will come at an hour when you do not expect him." While this verse speaks to spiritual readiness, bunker companies translate it into a message about physical preparedness. The construction of luxury bunkers also taps into the human desire for security and continuity. In the same way that Noah built an ark to preserve life, bunker companies build their shelters with the promise of preserving both life and lifestyle. These underground complexes are designed not just to help people survive, but to allow them to thrive in comfort, even during catastrophic events. Genesis 6 verse 14 describes how Noah was instructed to build the ark with specific dimensions and materials to ensure it could withstand the floodwaters. Similarly, bunker companies invest heavily in engineering their shelters to withstand various disasters, including nuclear fallout, earthquakes, and even biohazards. However, the question remains, are these bunkers truly providing protection, or are they creating a false sense of security? Bunker companies promise a safe haven from the chaos above, but the Bible warns that material structures cannot offer ultimate protection from divine judgment. Psalm 127 verse 1 says, "Unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain." This verse implies that no matter how well constructed these bunkers are, they cannot shield their occupants from all dangers, particularly those that are beyond human control. In marketing their bunkers, companies like VivoS and Atlas Survival Shelters also tap into the notion of exclusivity. These bunkers are not for everyone. They are primarily targeted at the wealthy elite, creating a modern-day version of the biblical ark that is accessible only to a select few. This exclusivity raises ethical questions about access and privilege. While Noah's Ark was built to save humanity and preserve life, today's luxury bunkers are often seen as a way for the rich to escape the consequences of global crises, while the rest of society is left to fend for itself. From a biblical perspective, the idea of creating exclusive safe havens for the wealthy stands in contrast to teachings on compassion and community. Luke 12 verse 33 instructs, "Sell your possessions and give to the poor. Provide purses for yourselves that will not wear out, a treasure in heaven that will never fail." The luxury bunker industry, however, operates on a model that caters to self-preservation and isolation rather than generosity and collective survival. This raises a broader question about the role of wealth and responsibility in times of crisis. Another interesting aspect of these bunker companies is the narrative they construct around survival. By invoking apocalyptic scenarios, they position themselves as providers of salvation in a secular world. In a sense, they are offering their clients a chance to play Noah, to be the ones who survive and rebuild in a post-disaster world. Yet, the Bible reminds us that true salvation is spiritual, not material. Ephesians 2 verses 8 to 9 says, "For it is by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not from yourselves, it is the gift of God, not by works, so that no one can boast." This verse highlights that, ultimately, human efforts at survival cannot replace the spiritual redemption offered through faith. Despite the high cost and exclusivity of these bunkers, their appeal continues to grow. The promise of safety, luxury, and self-sufficiency during a global catastrophe is too tempting for many to resist. But while these companies build their modern-day arks, the Bible offers a different kind of protection, one that emphasizes faith, community, and reliance on a higher power rather than on material structures. So, are these bunker companies the modern equivalent of Noah's Ark, or are they simply capitalizing on fear? And more importantly, can bunkers provide the kind of security that the Bible teaches is found only in faith? If you're finding this discussion on the parallels between modern bunker companies and biblical stories intriguing, be sure to subscribe for more thought-provoking insights. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Spiritual preparedness versus material security, a biblical perspective. In times of crisis, people often turn to what they believe will offer them the greatest sense of security. For the world's wealthiest individuals, that sense of security often comes in the form of luxury bunkers, massive, high-tech, underground complexes designed to protect them from natural disasters, pandemics, and societal collapse. However, while these bunkers represent material security, the Bible offers a contrasting message, emphasizing the importance of spiritual preparedness over physical safety. This tension between spiritual faith and material fortification raises important questions about where true security lies. The Bible speaks often about the futility of relying on material wealth for protection. Proverbs 18 verse 11 tells us, "The wealth of the rich is their fortified city. They imagine it a wall too high to scale." This verse highlights the illusion of invulnerability that wealth can create. For many of the world's richest, their wealth enables them to build physical structures, bunkers, that they believe will protect them from any threat. Yet, as this proverb suggests, such material solutions can create a false sense of security, diverting attention from the need for spiritual preparedness. The story of the rich fool in Luke 12 verses 16 to 21 offers another clear lesson about the dangers of prioritizing material wealth over spiritual readiness. In the parable, a wealthy man builds bigger barns to store his excess grain, believing that he has secured his future. However, God says to him, "You fool, this very night your life will be demanded from you. Then who will get what you have prepared for yourself?" This story illustrates the biblical principle that no amount of wealth or material preparation can prevent the uncertainties of life or the inevitability of death. While luxury bunkers may offer temporary protection from worldly dangers, the Bible teaches that true security comes from faith in God. Psalm 91 verse 2 declares, "I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in whom I trust." In this context, the fortress is not a physical structure, but a metaphor for God's protection. This psalm contrasts sharply with a modern mindset of building physical bunkers, which, although they offer protection from external threats, cannot provide the deeper sense of peace that comes from spiritual reliance. Interestingly, the Bible repeatedly emphasizes that material wealth should be used to help others rather than to secure personal safety. Matthew 6 verses 19 to 21 advises, "Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moths and vermin destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven." This teaching encourages the use of wealth for spiritual and communal purposes, rather than for self-preservation. By focusing on building bunkers, the ultra-wealthy may be missing an opportunity to use their resources in a way that aligns with biblical values of generosity and compassion. Furthermore, the Bible encourages individuals to trust in God's plan rather than to rely on human efforts to control the future. Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6 instructs, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight." While bunkers may provide a sense of control over external circumstances, this verse reminds us that ultimate security comes from faith in God's guidance, not from human engineering or wealth. Another key theme in the Bible is the call to live in community and to care for others during times of crisis. Galatians 6 verse 2 urges believers to carry each other's burdens, and in this way, you will fulfill the law of Christ. The construction of bunkers, particularly when designed to isolate a small group of people from the rest of society, runs counter to this biblical message of unity and mutual support. The Bible's focus is on helping others, even in times of great trial, rather than retreating into isolation. From a biblical perspective, spiritual preparedness involves aligning one's actions with faith, generosity, and compassion, rather than seeking refuge in physical structures. James 1 verse 27 reminds believers, "Religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless is this, to look after orphans and widows in their distress, and to keep oneself from being polluted by the world." Here, the emphasis is on caring for others, not on fortifying oneself against future calamities. This perspective suggests that while material preparations like bunkers may offer some protection, they are ultimately insufficient if they are not accompanied by a life of faith and service to others. In summary, while luxury bunkers may provide a form of material security, the Bible teaches that true security comes from faith, trust in God, and the practice of compassion and generosity. Spiritual preparedness involves focusing on relationships, community, and faith, rather than retreating into isolated fortresses. The challenge for the wealthy, then, is to balance their material resources with the call to live according to biblical principles. Enjoying this exploration of how the Bible contrasts with modern material security strategies? Don't miss out. Subscribe now and join the conversation in the comments below. The fear of social unrest. Why billionaires are isolating themselves. As wealth inequality continues to rise across the globe, one of the most significant fears among the ultra-wealthy is the potential for social unrest. Many billionaires are concerned that increasing tensions between the rich and poor could lead to protests, revolts, or even revolutions. This fear is driving a growing trend of isolation, with the rich retreating into luxury bunkers that provide a physical and psychological barrier from the world outside. The question is, how valid is this fear, and how does it reflect broader societal trends? Moreover, how does it align with biblical teachings on wealth, security, and community? In recent years, wealth inequality has reached historic levels. The gap between the richest individuals and the rest of society continues to widen, fueling resentment and anger among those who feel left behind. This growing divide can lead to unrest, as seen in movements like Occupy Wall Street and other protests against economic inequality. For many billionaires, the fear of being targeted during such periods of unrest has led them to invest heavily in bunkers, which they see as a form of protection from potential uprisings. The Bible offers numerous warnings about the dangers of wealth and the potential for social conflict that can arise from inequality. James 5 verses 1-3 speaks directly to the rich, saying, "Now listen, you rich people, weep and wail because of the misery that is coming on you. Your wealth has rotted, and moths have eaten your clothes. Your gold and silver are corroded, and their corrosion will testify against you." This passage serves as a warning to those who hoard wealth, suggesting that their riches will ultimately contribute to their downfall. The fear of social unrest is not new, and the Bible has long cautioned against the moral dangers of accumulating excessive wealth. For billionaires, the desire to isolate themselves from society reflects a broader trend of self-preservation. Their bunkers are not just about protecting themselves from environmental disasters or pandemics. They're also designed to shield them from potential civil unrest. Proverbs 11 verse 28 warns, "Those who trust in their riches will fall, but the righteous will thrive like a green leaf." While these luxury bunkers may provide a sense of physical security, the Bible teaches that true safety cannot be found in wealth or material possessions. Instead, it emphasizes the importance of righteousness and community. In addition to the physical isolation provided by bunkers, the rich are increasingly seeking emotional and psychological distance from the rest of society. Their decision to retreat into private, fortified spaces reflects a growing disconnect between the wealthy elite and the general population. This isolation can be seen as a response to the fear of being targeted during periods of social unrest, but it also raises ethical questions about the role of wealth in perpetuating inequality. Luke 16 verses 19-25 tells the story of the rich man and Lazarus, where the rich man, who lived in luxury while ignoring the suffering of others, was punished after death. This parable serves as a reminder that wealth used selfishly, without regard for others, can lead to spiritual consequences. The fear of social unrest is not entirely unfounded. History is replete with examples of revolts and revolutions sparked by economic inequality. From the French Revolution to modern uprisings in various parts of the world, inequality has often been a catalyst for social upheaval. For the wealthy, this knowledge fuels their desire to find refuge in isolated, secure locations. However, while bunkers may protect them from immediate threats, the Bible emphasizes that long-term security comes from fostering relationships and building a more just society. Isaiah 32 verse 18 says, "My people will live in peaceful dwelling places, in secure homes, in undisturbed places of rest." This verse speaks to the idea of true peace and security, which comes not from isolating oneself from society, but from creating an environment where justice and righteousness prevail. The Bible encourages unity and peace, emphasizing that a secure home is one that is built on ethical foundations and shared prosperity, not on walls and fortifications. Bunker culture also reflects a growing sense of distrust among the wealthy toward the systems and structures that once provided them with security. Many billionaires no longer trust that governments or institutions will protect them during times of crisis, and they are taking matters into their own hands by building private sanctuaries. However, the Bible teaches that placing trust in God and in ethical living provides far greater protection than relying on human institutions or personal wealth. Proverbs 3 verses 25-26 says, "Have no fear of sudden disaster or of the ruin that overtakes the wicked, for for the Lord will be at your side and will keep your foot from being snared. Ultimately, while the fear of social unrest is understandable, it reflects a broader issue of disconnection between the wealthy elite and the rest of society. The Bible calls for the rich to use their resources to build community and support those in need, rather than retreating into isolation. Matthew 19 verse 21 instructs, "If you want to be perfect, go, sell your possessions and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. Then come, follow me." This message challenges the wealthy to think beyond self-preservation and consider the greater good. If you're finding this exploration of the relationship between wealth, fear, and faith insightful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more thought-provoking content. Bunkers as a symbol of distrust in government and society. As billionaires invest in luxury bunkers, there is a clear message being sent. The wealthiest individuals no longer trust that governments or society can protect them in times of crisis. From natural disasters to pandemics and economic collapse, the rich are turning inward, seeking refuge in private, fortified sanctuaries. This trend reveals a growing sense of distrust in the very systems that were once relied upon for safety and stability. But how does this movement reflect larger societal issues? And how does it align with the biblical concept of trust? In times of global uncertainty, governments have historically played a central role in maintaining order, providing aid, and ensuring public safety. However, in recent years, many billionaires have begun to question whether these institutions can effectively manage large-scale crises. The pandemic, political unrest, and economic instability have all contributed to this erosion of trust. For the wealthy elite, the construction of bunkers represents a withdrawal from reliance on public systems and a shift towards personal security measures. This distrust is not new, but it has reached unprecedented levels. The Bible touches on the concept of trust and reliance on leadership in Romans 13 verse 1, which says, "Let everyone be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established." However, the construction of bunkers suggests that the wealthy no longer believe in the ability of these governing authorities to protect them. Instead, they are taking matters into their own hands, building personal fortresses as a way of asserting control over their fate. The growing bunker industry highlights this shift from public trust to private solutions. Companies like VivoS and Atlas Survival Shelters market their products as essential for those who no longer trust the government to maintain order during a crisis. They emphasize self-reliance and personal preparation, often using language that plays on fears of societal collapse and institutional failure. Isaiah 31 verse 1 warns, "Woe to those who go down to Egypt for help, who rely on horses, who trust in the multitude of their chariots, but do not look to the Holy One of Israel." This verse highlights the dangers of placing trust in human institutions or material defenses instead of seeking spiritual protection. For many, the construction of bunkers is more than just a physical precaution. It is a reflection of a broader societal trend toward individualism and self-reliance. As governments struggle to address global challenges, such as climate change, inequality, and pandemics, the wealthy are increasingly turning to private solutions to secure their futures. This shift represents a growing disconnect between the elite and the rest of society, as well as a deepening distrust in collective responses to crises. Yet, the Bible consistently emphasizes the importance of community and mutual support in times of difficulty. Galatians 6 verse 2 urges believers to carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. By retreating into isolated bunkers, the ultra-wealthy are choosing to prioritize their own survival over collective action and support for the broader community. This withdrawal from society stands in contrast to the biblical call for unity and cooperation in the face of hardship. Furthermore, the construction of bunkers reveals a lack of faith in the idea of societal progress. The wealthy, by investing in underground shelters, are essentially preparing for a world in which society breaks down entirely. Psalm 146 verse 3 advises, "Do not put your trust in princes, in human beings who cannot save." This verse suggests that human leaders and institutions are fallible, and true trust should be placed in God. While the rich invest in material security, the Bible points to a deeper, spiritual form of protection. There is also a moral dimension to this movement away from trust in society and government. The decision to invest in private bunkers reflects a mindset of self-preservation that often overlooks the needs of others. Proverbs 28 verse 27 says, "Those who give to the poor will lack nothing, but those who close their eyes to them receive many curses." While bunkers may protect the wealthy from immediate dangers, the Bible teaches that true security comes from generosity and helping others, not from isolation. The shift toward bunker construction also raises questions about the future of governance and societal cohesion. If the wealthiest individuals no longer trust governments to manage crises, what does this mean for the rest of society? The bunker trend suggests that the rich are preparing for a world in which traditional systems of order and protection no longer function effectively. This trend may indicate a broader societal breakdown, where trust in institutions erodes and people turn inward, focusing solely on their own survival. In conclusion, while bunkers offer the wealthy a form of physical security, they also symbolize a deeper mistrust in government and society. The Bible challenges this mindset, calling for trust in God, reliance on community, and generosity toward others. As the wealthy continue to retreat into isolated sanctuaries, they may be missing the opportunity to contribute to the collective well-being and stability of society. As we conclude, it's important to reflect on the deeper meaning behind these luxury bunkers. While they provide physical protection and comfort for the world's richest, they also reveal the anxieties and fears that even wealth cannot erase. At the intersection of material security and spiritual preparedness, we find a compelling question. Can true safety be achieved through fortresses of steel and technology, or does ultimate security come from something greater? Faith, community, and compassion? As you ponder this, remember that no amount of wealth can shield us from the uncertainties of life. And perhaps, the most important refuge we can build is within ourselves. If this video got you thinking about how true security goes beyond material wealth, don't forget to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments. Let's keep the conversation going.